Hello, welcome back to my channel, Goddess of Gore. I'm so glad you're here today. My name is Vix and this is where I like to talk about horror, thriller, fantasy and sci-fi books. Today I want to tell you about all of the books I want to read in October. Yes, it's October TBR time. Let's get to those beautiful books then. So here in the UK it is Black History Month, so for the whole of the month I'm not doing my yearly read-alongs of Sapkowski, Pratchett, Slaughter and Gaiman. Instead I'm only reading from Black authors for Halloweekend, Blackoween and Occult Detective October, but I do have a non-white author for that readathon. Just because this book came with such a big recommendation, I could not make it fit this particular readathon. So let's just get on with those books then. I'm going to warn you all right now, this is going to be long because I'm taking part in 3 readathons. My brain is working against me and I'm just feeling a little chaotic right now, but I'm willing to work through this if you are, okay? I'm going to start with the Halloweekend readathon. This is the 2nd year it's been on and hosted by Lexi from Books with Lexi, Katrina from Katrina Brown, Kelsey from Slime and Slashers, Kaylee from Kaylee's Books and Sav from Riveting Reads. It is a readathon that concentrates on the 5 weekends in October with a series of prompts, bonus prompts and photo prompts. This year, as I said, I will be reading only from Black authors and I have chosen from the main prompts. White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson for the book cover that matches a host thumbnail, and I think this looks pretty much like Katrina's thumbnail here. This is a modern take on the classic haunted house story. The book follows Marigold, a teenage girl who moves in with a newly blended family from their small California beach town to the Midwestern city of Cedarville, hoping for a fresh start. Her mom has started a job with the Sterling Foundation that comes with a free house, one that Mary now has to share with her 10-year-old stepsister. The house on Maple Street is picture perfect, but it also has its own secrets. Marigold soon begins to experience strange and disturbing events, including whispers in the night, moving objects and shadowy figures lurking in the corners. She also learns about the tragic history of the house, which includes several deaths of young black girls. Then, for the prompt to read an anticipated horror release, I have chosen The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve-Dew. This does release on Halloween, but I'm very excited to get to my early copy during one of the weekends in October. This is a historical fiction novel set in Jim Crow, Florida in the 1960s. The book follows Robert Stevens Jr., a 12-year-old boy who was sentenced to 6 months at Gracetown School for Boys, a segregated reform school. Robbie is a good kid, but he made a mistake. Now he must face the harsh realities of life at the reformatory, where boys are subjected to abuse and where many go missing or are never seen again. Robbie can see ghosts. He sees the ghosts of the boys who have been killed or tortured, and he knows that he is now in danger. So this does have a sad side to the book because it is a tribute to the victims of the Dozier School for Boys, a real-life reform school in Florida where hundreds of boys went missing or killed between 1914 and 1963. I know that I think this is going to be quite sad as well as spooky. So for the next prompt, it is read a book that scares you, and while I'm not sure that this will scare, the cover does look a bit... Those are teeth on the head thing on the cover, and teeth are my ick. So We Are Here to Hurt Each Other by Paula D. Ashe is a short story collection. It is said the stories in the collection are not for the faint of heart. They are graphic and disturbing, but they are also beautifully written and deeply thought-provoking. So, some of the stories in this collection are Aspects of Emptiness, a man with severe facial deformities who stalks people and uses the power of suggestion to mutilate their own faces. Carrion, a group of teenagers kill a homeless man for fun, but then they are haunted by his ghost. And the title story, We Are Here to Hurt Each Other, is about a serial killer who returns to his hometown to finish what he started, but he finds that his victims are more resilient than he first thought. And then I took a spin of the wheel, which I will include a photo of what I got there. Yeah, I got vampire, and for that prompt I have chosen to read the Gilda stories by Joelle Gomez. This has just got a very shiny new fresh release, although it was originally released in 1991. It follows the experiences of a black lesbian vampire whose power and morality challenge assumptions about the vampire myth. The novel begins in 1850 Louisiana, where a young enslaved girl named Gilda escapes to freedom. She's taken in by two mysterious women who turn her into a vampire. Gilda then embarks on a journey through time and space, exploring different cultures and communities and learning to navigate her new existence as an immortal being. I am embarrassed to say that I have not read this modern classic of the vampire subgenre, so let's right that wrong ASAP. And then the last prompt is to read a book from a host's favourite trope, and I've chosen Katrina Brown again, and I have picked the final girl trope, and for this I chose two because I couldn't just pick one, and those are You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kalin Bayron and Cirque Berserk by Jessica Guess. The Kalin Bayron book is about Charity, who has the summer job of her dreams playing the final girl at Camp Mirror Lake, a camp set up where guests pay to be scared in a kind of game or slasher reenactment from a film that was set in the exact spot of the woods. But the last weekend of the season, Charity's co-workers begin disappearing, and when one ends up dead, Charity's role of the final girl suddenly becomes all too real. And then in Cirque Berserk, it is a slasher horror about a group of teenagers who visit an abandoned carnival that is rumoured to be haunted. The story is set in the present day, but it also includes flashbacks to the 1990s when the murders took place. A group of high school seniors take a trip to the abandoned Cirque Berserk carnival. The carnival has been closed for decades, but it is still a popular destination for teenagers who are looking for a thrill. They arrive at the carnival but soon realise that they are not alone. So that's the main prompts. I will include all of the details, all of the videos, all of the hosts and such in the description box if you want to know more about the readathon or find out what the rest of the prompts are. Right, so good. So far, so good. I'll do the Occult Detective October next because I'm only loosely taking part. I mean, there's weekly prompts. Week 1, a classic, something pre-1960s. Week 2, modern, something post-1960s. Week 3, to read a book with a diverse author or main character, and then a free-for-all on week 4. So ignoring all of those prompts except for the post-1960s and the diverse authors, I will be reading The Secret Keepers, A Blackwater's Tale by Jean Nicole Rivers. Now, I'm not sure about the occult part of this, but it's labelled as a horror paranormal mystery, so I guess I'll read it and find out then, eh? This is about Lola, Regina, Natalie and Nikki, who are the best of friends as kids, and then young Lola goes missing. Fast forward to the present. When Lola's dismembered body is found, the 3 remaining friends are reunited. The sheriff of Blackwater is on the case, but Regina, she decides she's going to need to do her own investigation. And then The Library of the Dead by T.L. Uchu. This story follows Roper Fadzzo, a ghost talker who speaks to the dead and carries messages to the living. Roper is living a quiet life with her grandmother when she is asked to investigate the disappearance of a child. She soon discovers that the child is not the only one who has vanished and that a dark secret is hidden within the city's walls. This investigation takes her to the Edinburgh Library, a mysterious place that is rumoured to contain the knowledge of the dead. She must learn to navigate the library's dangerous secrets. and use her powers as a ghost talker to uncover the truth behind the child's disappearance. There is a whole crew to help, including a librarian who can see the future, a ghost, and a man who can't control his magic. And then the only non-black author I'm reading this month is R.R. Verdi. Honestly, Mr. Verdi, you are an honoured guest this month. But he is non-white, so I'm reading his book Grave Beginnings. I had to put this on my occult detective list because he comes very highly recommended, as I said, hyped as Dresden Files meets Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap, people, I am there. Oh boy, I love that show so much, hoping that each time his next leap would be the leap home. Oh, nostalgia. And I see the analogy here. This is a paranormal thriller about a detective who can inhabit the bodies of other people for short periods of time. Now, in this, Detective Vincent Graves wakes up in a coffin. He has no idea how he got there or who he is. He soon learns that he has been killed and that his soul has been trapped in the body of a dead man. Graves must now solve his own murder before his time runs out. Graves' investigation leads him to a powerful supernatural being that is giving people everything they could ever desire, but at a terrible price. Okay, another readathon down. Now on to the confusing one. Oh, I forgot to say that the Occult Detective October Readathon is hosted by MJ and a whole crew of other booktubers and a member of Occult Detective magazine, Dave Jeski. I will link the channels below and the Discord link if I can. Yes, I'm being a bit frantic. My brain isn't working with me anymore, but that's a whole other story. Go and have a look at the host videos and such because there are so many great recommendations on their channels. So, the big one, Blackoweenathon. Yes, it's confusing and a lot, as I said, but why is it confusing? Well, Bree from the Locked Booktician has made a map. Yes, a map. There's rules and dice and all kinds of stuff going on, but I'm just there for the books and the prompts. Now, I still don't have one of the stop-offs on the map decided, so I might not partake in the noir apothecary, but we'll see. But I'm going to try and get some graphics up on here. If I haven't, then just use your imagination. So the map is of Tula's Parish. Okay, there are stops on this map with prompts. I will include Bree's announcement video below where she goes through this in far better detail than I possibly can. Right, some of these books are recycled from the first two readathons, so I won't talk about them again. I'll just mention them as fitting the prompts. So the first stop is the Bayou Haunted House. This is the spooky haunted house, and the prompts for this are: read a possession story. So I have chosen The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas, a young adult horror novel about a teenage boy named Jake who is haunted by a ghost of a school shooter. Jake has always been able to see ghosts, but he's kept his ability a secret from everyone in his life. But when the ghost of Sawyer Doone, a troubled teen who shot and killed 6 kids at his local high school before taking his own life, starts haunting Jake, everything changes. And Sawyer is not a harmless ghost. He is powerful and angry, and he has plans for Jake. So Jake must find a way to stop Sawyer before it is too late, but he cannot do it alone. He needs the help of his friends and family who don't know his secret. Then the next prompt is, I should say that each stop on the map has 5 prompts. So prompt 2 is a book with a ghost residing over a house. And I did pick White Smoke again, so on with prompt number 3, a haunted house set in the American South. And I chose The Spite House by Johnny Compton. It is set in Texas Hill County and follows Eric Ross, a man on the run with his 2 daughters. He takes a job as a caretaker for a haunted house, the Masson House, in exchange for a large sum of money. Now, the Masson House is known for being the most haunted place in Texas, and Eric and his daughters soon experience the house's paranormal activity firsthand. Strange noises, moving objects, terrifying visions. They also begin to uncover the dark secrets of the house's past, which are tied somehow to Eric's own family history. Prompt number 4 for the Bayeux Haunted House is a book with a house, mansion or estate in the title, and I took a little liberty here by adding the reformatory once more. Prompt number 5 is a book with a medium or a spiritual leader, and I added The Library of the Dead by T.L. Uchu again. So that completes the Bayeux Haunted House. Onwards to the next stop on the map. It is Ruby Cruise Park, a place of family and friendships, and in my case, a little bit more horror. So the first prompt is friendships and family, and I have chosen The Changeling by Victor Laval. Not exactly fitting the prompts, but this is about a man called Apollo who is searching for his missing wife and child. Apollo is a bookseller who is fascinated by folklore and mythology, and he begins to believe that his wife and child have been taken by a changeling, a creature from fairy tales that replaces human children with its own. His search takes him to the dark side of New York, where he encounters a cast of strange and dangerous characters, including a witch, a demon hunter, and a man who claims to be his father's ghost. Prompt number 2 is a book with root magic, and I have picked Nick Blake and the Remarkables by Angie Thomas, a fantasy novel inspired by African American history and folklore, about a young girl named Nick who discovers that she has magical powers. She lives in the unremarkable world where magic is hidden from the general public. On her 12th birthday, Nick receives a pet hellhound named Sparky. She also learns that her father has also been keeping a secret because he is a manifester. Nick is very excited to learn about her magic and start her training, but her father is hesitant because Nick has found out that a dangerous group of people are hunting manifestors. So Nick must use her newfound powers to protect her family and friends and to stop the group from destroying the world. Prompt number 3 is a book set in spring or summer, and I am recycling You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight from earlier because it is about a summer camp. Ruby Crew prompt number 4, a book with a secret, and I have picked Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Imidade, set in a prestigious boarding school where 2 black students, Devon and Chiamaka, are the only students of colour. Although they are from different backgrounds, they are both outsiders at Niveus. Devon is a talented musician, but he is also shy and introverted. Chiamaka is popular and outgoing, but she is also hiding a dark secret. When Devon and Chiamaka receive a threatening text from an anonymous sender, they realise that someone is targeting them. The sender calls themselves Ace of Spades, who threatens to reveal their secrets to the entire school. These 2 must work together to find out who Ace of Spades is and stop them before it is too late. But as they investigate, they discover that there are more secrets hidden at Niveus than they ever imagined. And then for the final prompt for Ruby's Crew, a book where a character gets infected. It's Hide and Seeker by Daka Herman. This is about a group of friends playing hide and seek at a welcome back party for a friend who has been gone for a year. So Justin is ecstatic that his friend Z is back, but there's something different about Z, and Z's keeping stum about where he's been. So, playing hide and seek, one by one, the friends start to disappear. They are being hunted by a malevolent entity that they call the Seeker. The Seeker is able to manipulate their deepest fears and turn them against them. Justin and his friends must work together to defeat the Seeker and save their friends. And of course, there's something eating away at old Z. We're done in that bit. On to the next stop, which is the Laissez-Faire streetcar. So here it's all about time. So prompt number 1, a book with time jumps. It was the first one I thought of, and that's Kindred by Octavia Butler. This is a heartbreaking book about Dana, who travels back in time to the antebellum South. Dana was living in Los Angeles in 1976 until one day she mysteriously is transported back in time to 1815, Maryland. Dana finds herself on a plantation owned by Rufus Whalin. Not a nice guy, shall we say. Dana discovers that she is not the only person who travels back in time. She meets people from the future, including a man named Kevin and a woman named Alice. Dana travels back in time several times throughout the novel, and each time she returns to the present, she is more and more traumatized by her experiences in the past. Prompt number 2, a book with an unreliable narrator. And while I don't know if there's an unreliable narrator in this book, there's a chance there can be. Maybe. It's the brand new Best of Luck by Jason Mott. Barry and Will have been best of friends for 20 years, but their situations in life are completely opposite. You could say that Barry has had all the luck. So one night, Will brings a gun to Barry, making wild claims about him stealing all of his luck. And then prompt number 3, to read a black classic. I've plopped in Gilda Stories by Joelle Gomez here because it just is. Then there's a prompt I haven't filled yet with travelling, but I'm sure one of the books on this TBR will fit it. And then a black author from outside the US is the last prompt, and I have both Farida Abike Imidade and TL Huchu because they are both from Scotland here in the sunny UK. Onward to Joe's library, which is going back in time, in this case to darker times in history. So the first prompt is a book with a historical reference, and I'm adding Kindred again here because of the slavery antebellum times. Prompt number 2 is a mystery set in the 1970s, and for this I have picked The Final Reunion of Opal and Nev by Dawnie Walton. This is a book about a musical duo who shot to stardom in the 1970s but were ultimately torn apart by racism, sexism and personal conflicts. Decades later, in 2016, music journalist Sunny convinces Opal and Nev to reunite for one final concert and to participate in a book-length interview about their lives and careers. Sunny's interviews with Opal and Nev reveal the hidden truths about their relationship, so that's the mystery, and the events that led up to their breakup. And then another recycle for prompt number 3 for the Blackwater Tales from Occult Detective October for the mystery set in the 2000s. And then prompt number 4 is a book published by a black man, but I'm confused here because all of the recommendations are just black male authors rather than publishing houses. So I just went with S.A. Cosby because I want to know what all of the fuss is about. Yes, it's Razorblade Tears about 2 fathers, Ike and Buddy Lee, who team up to avenge the murders of their sons, Isaiah and Derek, who were married to each other. Ike is an ex-con who has been trying to go straight since he got out of prison 15 years ago, and Buddy Lee is an ex-con who is still involved in the criminal underworld. The 2 men have nothing in common except for the love of their sons. When Isaiah and Derek are murdered, Ike and Buddy Lee are determined to find the killers and bring them to their own kind of justice. And then the final prompt is a book with a musical element, so it's Opal and Nev again for that. So stepping onwards through the map, it is Saint Trame Graveyard, and this is where you can get really spooky, but I suppose this is where I haven't gone too wild, I don't think. So the first prompt is of the night vibes, and the cover of this is giving all of those. It is another S.A. Cosby with All the Sinners Bleed, the latest release by him. In this we follow Titus Crown, the first black sheriff in the county, as he investigates the murder of a white woman named Cora. She is found dead in her home with her body mutilated beyond recognition. But Titus is determined to solve the case and bring the killer to justice. But he soon realises that he is facing an uphill battle because his county is a town with a deep history of racism and violence, and he is facing opposition within his own department as some of his own white colleagues are not supportive of him or the investigation. Prompt number 2 is A Deal Is Made, and again I have gone with a new release with I Fed Her to the Beast and the Beast Is Me by Jemison Shea, a black ballerina named Laurie who is desperate to succeed in the cutthroat world of ballet. She makes a deal with a god that is leaking through a crack in the Paris catacombs and gains the power to achieve her deepest desire. However, she also must feed the god with her own humanity and the lives of others. Laurie quickly becomes a rising star in the ballet world, but her success comes at a price. She becomes increasingly isolated and paranoid, and she begins to lose her grip on reality. Same, Laurie, same. Prompt number 3 is another recycling book, A Murder with Multiple Points of View, and I'm told that this is, so it's Razorblade Tears again. Then prompt number 4 is the extreme one, a book with body parts or body horror. I had to go with the champion of extreme horror. It is Wrath James White. He has been doing the nasty before doing the nasty was a thing, and I'm reading his disturbing succulent prey. Joseph Miles is abducted and tortured by a cannibalistic serial killer named Damon Trent. Joseph manages to escape, but he is traumatized by the whole experience. No shit, Sherlock. Years later, Joseph becomes convinced that he is turning into a cannibal himself. He is haunted by visions of Damon and by the urge to eat human flesh. I feel you, Joseph, I feel you. Joseph must find a way to stop himself before he becomes the very thing he fears. Sounds prolific, Mr. White. You are spoiling us. And then the final prompt is a book with ancestral knowledge, and for this I am picking Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This is about Bree Matthews, a young woman who attends an elite boarding school after her mother's death. At the school, Bree discovers that she is a descendant of a long line of demon hunters known as the Legendborn. She must learn to use her powers to protect the school from the demons that threaten to destroy it. And that only leaves the Noir Apothecary, and this is all about the cozy. And I need to basically pick one book for all of the prompts. Let me tell you what they are. 1, a mystery romance. 2, a mystery with food. 3, a mystery with a pet. 4, an amateur sleuth. And 5, a small town. Now, I really want to read A Deadly Inside Scoop or A Game of Cones, which I think fits all of the prompts, but I'm hanging out for something else. I need to watch a lot more of the recommendation videos, I think, but with all of these books I definitely need a one for all. So that is it. That's all of the books I want to read for October and the 3 readathons. Do you think I will do it? Can I read 25 books this month? Could I? Nay. Should I? What are you planning to do this month? What are you most looking forward to? Are you participating in any of these readathons this month, or are you doing a completely different readathon? Let me know. I want to hear all about it, and maybe I can take part next year. And let me know if you read any of these books and want to tell me how good they were or how bad. Let me know in the comments what's going on with you. I will leave you, as always, with a quote about the month of October. Well, it's not always about October, but you get the drift. October proved a riot to the senses and climaxed those giddy last weeks before Halloween. The air was crisp and clean, the leaves were painted fiery hues, and the days were shorter. There was a chill in the air and the sense of anticipation. Halloween was coming and everyone knew it. Make some good book choices this week, my friends, and I hope to see you all again soon. Until next time, bye bye.